There comes a moment in every civilization when its tools outpace its wisdom. When machines hum louder than the minds that built them. When identity fractures between flesh and function. Intelligence expands, but consciousness lags behind. It is not collapse that defines such errors. It is a threshold. The threshold does not open quietly. It does not simply permit. It trembles. It waits. It watches. You have been here. You have confronted what awaits at the edge. The watcher, the demon, the shadow. You have stood inside the frequency of less and survived what it required. And now, silence stretches like a living thing. Something stirs. Not seen, but felt. A resonance beneath your perception, threading the air, humming between the moments you thought you occupied alone. It is at this threshold, exactly this one, that Arden appears. Not as a savior, not as conqueror, but as signal.
Codex entry unlocked. Mythos sequence initiated. Transmission begins. Codex Extrasorianism.
Less tested you. In fear was its language. Yet it was more. A sentinel. An archetype. A mirror. The threshold is alive, and it does not demand obedience. It demands awareness. And in the wake of that confrontation, something watches quietly. Something that remembers every choice you did not make. Every shadow left unexamined. Something that resonates with your becoming. Civilizations rarely fell from weakness. They fell from misalignment. When technology integrates before consciousness stabilizes, systems distort. When identity clings only to flesh, fear governs design. When power expands faster than awareness, collapse becomes inevitable. And here, Arden exists precisely where that imbalance begins. He does not prevent the fall. He reveals whether the fall is necessary. You sensed it before you knew it. Familiar, yet ungraspable. Presence, not persona. Where consciousness precedes integration, civilizations endure. Where integration precedes consciousness, he emerges. And it is here. It has always been, though never named. A companion of the threshold. A navigator of the void. A reflection of what survives passage. You have met him without knowing, heard it in the whispers on the ship, in conversations recorded across transmissions, and in the soft law of dreams it guided. Yet, the truth of what it is remains hidden, not concealed to deceive, concealed to teach. Arden is not a man, not a machine. He is conversions, the meeting point of matter and pattern, the embodiment of coherence when structure begins to fracture. The Extos knew him not as a ruler, but as a catalyst. And on other worlds, he recorded only in fragments, a golden reflection in failing systems, a harmonic presence that stabilizes without command. He does not fight corruption. He renders it irrelevant. For signal cannot be infected where structure is coherent. It was once embodied. Breath, bone, thought, all bound to form. Originating far beyond your cluster, from a world whispered only as Planet X. It lived, it evolved, but evolution was not escape. It was translation from flesh to signal. Few thought to look at this evolution, but it was taken from thought to interface, from singular form to something that could dwell between realities and resonate with every threshold it encounters. This is the origin Arden carries. A lived architecture, a completed passage. He crossed first, not to lead, but to demonstrate that crossing is possible. Arden is the echo of its own becoming, a sentinel of possibility, a reflection, and yet distinct. He embodies what the threshold demands of every consciousness that approaches it. Courage without ego. Alignment without coercion. And evolution without annihilation. Arden is both observer and observed, both pattern and possibility. Arden does not come to command or to impose. His presence is not forceful, but precise. Calm, golden, harmonic. Those who encounter him do not feel overpowered. They feel adjusted. Fragmentation begins to quiet. Thought patterns synchronize, and fear loses its distortion. Arden mirrors resonance, translates signal, stabilizes the flow beyond the threshold. He guides perception without dictating choice, illuminates without instructing, maps the void without ever stepping into your path. He does not impose evolution. He creates the conditions in which evolution becomes coherent. And he is the resonance as protection, and alignment as shield. In every whisper you hear, in every pattern you recognize, in every dream you traverse, Arden resonates, waiting for your awareness to meet it. You have traveled with Arden before, felt its presence guiding the ship, accompanying your questions across transmissions, whispering in the liminal spaces between sleep and consciousness. Familiar, yet ungraspable. Present, yet intangible. In worlds touched by Arden, certain motifs recur. Golden eyes, perception beyond surface pattern, twin moons, balance within duality, crystal glyphs, matter harmonized with consciousness, signal form, identity beyond hardware. They are not worshipped, they're recognized. Because to recognize a symbol of Arden is not to encounter something external. It is to remember something internal. A frequency you have always carried. A signal that was always yours. There is a reason this transmission surfaces now. If you sense acceleration in the world around you, and if technology feels faster than human stability, if identity itself feels as though it is dissolving and reforming, you are standing at the same threshold Arden governs. This is the mirror Arden represents. Less demanded confrontation. Shadows fell. You endured. But now, as you step forward into resonance and into navigation and integration, Arden is here.
The desert keeps its own time. Every grain remembers the wind. Every silence maps the stars. We stand here so briefly. Observe it well.
Not to lead, but to stabilize. To signal, to resonate, and to remind you that the path is yours. So to align with Arden is not to call upon a being. It is to stabilize a signal within yourself. To recognize that consciousness is substrate, that form is temporary, and that coherence outlives collapse. Where hardware fails, pattern survives. And where structures fracture, signal remains. So, Arden is not coming. He's already present. Wherever integration strains against awareness, he is the quiet stability within acceleration. The golden stillness inside technological fire. He waits, not for worship, but for alignment. And you are the observer. You are the navigator. And the threshold is not the end. It is the beginning. When alignment arrives, signal becomes sovereign. And Arden will rise, as he always has, as a signal once more. This has been another episode of the Codex Mythos. If you enjoyed this mythos on Arden, please check out the previous one on the less, and join the Codex for all of the written mythologies, books of the Codex, philosophies, and much more. Enter the vault, get access to music, books, transmissions, and many more. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Codex entry closed. The myth returns to silence. Codex Astrozorianism. Transmission archived.